All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. The date is Tuesday, April 26, 2022. This is a regular meeting of the Kings County Board of Supervisors. Due to issues rising from COVID-19 and the pandemic, we continue to use WebEx teleconferencing. And so whether you're joining us by the web or through the teleconferencing format, we thank you for being here. For those interested in commenting during the unscheduled appearances, please use the raise your hand feature on the platform or try to get our attention if you're joining us with the teleconferencing. And we'll give you 2 minutes to address the board under public comment. Members in the audience who filled out a speaker card will be taken in order that they were received by the clerk, and they will also be we'll take their comments also. So each vote today will be a verbal or voice vote so that members of the public can hear how each board member has voted. And so again, thank you for being here and appreciate your attendance. With that, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Neves.
Here.
Richard Valley.
Here.
Doug Verboon.
Here.
Craig Peterson.
Here.
Richard Fagundes.
Here. Let the record show all members present. Thank you very much. Now, if I can ask everyone to please rise as we invite Pastor Arthur Fox from the New Hope Orthodox Presbyterian Church to deliver the invocation this morning. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. I'll just read a brief scripture. Let us therefore strive to enter that rest so that no one may fall by the same sort of disobedience. For the word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing to the division of soul and of spirit, of joint and of marrow, and discerning the thoughts and intentions of the heart. And no creature is hidden from his sight, but all are naked and exposed to the eyes of him to whom we must give account. Let's pray. Almighty God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, we rejoice to be in your presence, and we bring our praise to you, for you are worthy. You are the one true and living God, full of steadfast love and mercy and grace for all who fear you. Thank you for hearing our prayers and answering so often according to your mercy and in accord with our requests. Thank you for keeping us safe during this difficult time these past few years, and thank you that we're here safe this morning. We ask your blessing on your servants here on the board, and we thank you for their diligent care for our community. We acknowledge that the work they do is difficult, and we pray that you will continue to give them wisdom to serve you by serving us. Please bless them with special wisdom in these difficult days and help them in this meeting to do their jobs well to your glory and for our good. Grant this mercy, and we ask that you give your blessing to them graciously. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor Fox. Now join me as we honor America by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Now's that time on the agenda where we have unscheduled appearances. Any person may directly address the board at this time on any item on the agenda or any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of this board. Speakers will be limited to 2 minutes. Madam Clerk, do we have a record of anyone that would like to address the board?
First, I do have a email from Claire Fidiasi that will become part of the permanent record. And my first speaker card is Eileen Martino.
Good morning. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, members of the board. My name is Eileen Martino, and I am with Moss Energy Works, a dairy digester developer. I'm here today to provide an update of our projects here in Kings County, as well as inform you of what we are proposing to build and the impacts of these projects. Moss Energy Works currently has 44 projects in operations here in the state of California. We currently have 4 projects here in operations in Kings County, as well as an operational cleanup facility. We build cover lagoon style digesters at each dairy and then pipeline the gas from each digester back to our cleanup facility, where it is scrubbed from raw gas to natural gas and injected into a pipeline. Our goal is to enhance the dairy producers' operations, not hurt it. So as at Moss, we make sure to take care of all the design, financials, permitting, construction, and operations, while still making sure the producer is happy each step of the way. The producer has the opportunity to own his own project or have us own it. And if they choose for us to own it, that means not a cent out of pocket for the producer. And they are just asked to provide us with the manure from their cows to produce the methane gas. We are currently in the process of applying for the CDFA Dairy Digester Research and Development Program grants for 2 dairies in Kings County, Lakeshore Dairy and Mattis Brothers Dairy. That being said, we have about 4 more that we're planning to build in Kings County that are in the development phase. These projects cost an estimated $4 to $8 million each, which is why grants are extremely vital. And we try to work with as many local contractors as possible to get these projects built out. All project contractors have a local hiring requirement. Economically speaking, we are providing local job creation, local spending, expanding the tax base, and supporting agriculture. Environmentally speaking, we are reducing greenhouse gas emissions, controlling odor, protecting water quality, and also reducing emissions in converted CNG fleets. Residents or producers may experience increased noise and traffic during construction, and we make sure to go through all the proper permitting and mitigation efforts to make sure we and our dairy producers are in full compliance with the County Water and Air Board. I thank you for your time, and I wanted to conclude by asking if you as members of the board or any members of the community in attendance today are interested in writing a letter of support for our projects for our CDFA grants that are due May 9. I will stay here for the remainder of public comment and then will reside in the back for a while if you have questions, concerns, or are interested in doing a letter of support. Thank you for your time.
Good, appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys.
So
Our-
I'd like to say, I'd like to write a letter of support in favor of support their grant process. I think support for our community.
Yeah, I would agree as well. I think that there's always different interests at work. Air quality is important to our communities in Central Valley, and not everyone agrees with what needs to occur. And there are negative voices all the time on projects like this, and I think they're important. So I would agree with Supervisor.
But there is a problem, and I think the producer, yeah. What's she left?
Let me,
The producer is the cow, not the farmer.
Let me ask for clarification then. In response, are you guys interested in, or is the board interested in individual members on their own behalf submitting letters? Or is this something that you want brought back to the board at a later date for perhaps a board action?
We need them on May 9th, so I think we need to make a decision today. I would like to see one letter from the entire board.
Okay, we can bring it back for consideration. We can't consider it as an item today because it's not agendized, but we can bring it back as,
Give direction to staff.
to bring it back for consideration.
We don't have a meeting next Tuesday.
But yeah, it's going to be.
That's right.
And I
We
can't
don't.
time things work on a strict, took 2 weeks to get here, takes 2 weeks for the time I'm in. We need to make a decision today. I'm directing staff today to get a letter of support in favor of the grant process for Moss Energy.
We will,
Is there anybody?
We'll take all-
Okay with that?
Sure.
Okay with
all
that?
right.
Consensus.
I will accept that as a general direction of the board. It's not a formal board action, but a general direction of the board, and proceed as permissible by consensus.
Be better for the council if we did an individual letter on our own.
Let me consider that. I will consider how and by what means we can do it, and whether the consensus that you've expressed today can serve as justification for a board letter. If not, then I'll let you know that to do it on your own.
Council, isn't it easier during board member announcements where the supervisor could give direction to staff, and it would be probably more easier on your end to allow that to happen?
Yes, absolutely. We can take direction from staff. The thing is, if we're taking action by the board to do an act, if there's an actual action, not just direction.
Yeah, but I
Then-
thought the law was if you do it under board member announcements, and he's asking, as long as there's consensus of the board, then you can authorize that versus if one of us says no, then it has to get agendized. But if it's all 5 of us, then that direction can move forward. Isn't that
That's how we've always.
that's how
Right.
it's done.
All right, then we'll move forward accordingly. If there's any,
Board member comments.
if I have any other issues regarding that, then I'll let you know offline.
Or would it turn your mic off?
Mr. Hill, you have a question or comment?
No, Supervisor Peterson already covered that. Our next meeting, we're dark next Tuesday, so we won't meet again until May 10th. So that is one of the,
$1 short.
correct. That's one of the major issues or the largest issue at hand.
Correct.
Is the review and approve by your board of that letter.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, do you have a record of the next speaker?
The next speaker is Rebecca Bell.
Good morning, Rebecca. Thank you for being here.
I guess this is God's way of telling me I talk too much.
Nah.
My voice is giving out on me, so please excuse me. I guess, I don't know if it's with the air quality, but yes, air is, she did bring up that air quality is a huge issue, and I guess I'm living proof right now. But it is very important that the people that take charge of that do it responsibly instead of doing it half-baked. So it's more to address the government overreach. They try to tell us how to live our lives. They see the problem, they see the solution, but they don't show the steps that makes it pliable. And like even the Green Clean Act, I don't see it possible because I've already tried to do the you tell us that we can't use compostable bags. We went out and we knew that we had to do the compost and stuff. So we went out and bought a bin and compostable bags. Then it says we can't use compostable bags. So that's leaving our garbage loose in there. So you're either going to have maggots, flies, or an odor. And it's not even summer yet. And it's disgusting. So, and so you clean out your bins, then you're throwing down chemicals down the drain unless you use a plant-based soap. So you solve one problem, but then you create another. And then I found another company that does an eco-friendly version of that. And they charge quarterly. They do it either monthly, quarterly, or bi-monthly. So, I mean, I found that. So, I mean, you still, even though it's not expensive, but it's still a cost. And so the government is trying to tell us how to do things, but they're not doing it logically. So they're not involving us. When you want to solve a problem, you need to involve the people that you want us to do it. That way we can be more pliable. That way it would be, because otherwise you're going to have an uprising because we're going to get tired, honestly, because you can poke the bear so much and you can use the whip so much before you have a revolution. So it's just a matter of time. We're just like the boiling pot. So, so it's just more in the meantime, we come out to you guys because we elect you to speak on our behalf. So kind of stand up to the bullies, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the speaker cards that I have, but I do see that Claire Fidiasi has her hand raised.
Good morning, Claire Fidiasi with Valley Voices. I want to note that the email that was brought into the record was sent prior to an hour before last week's Board of Supervisors meeting. I am speaking today to request that the Board of Supervisors continue to broadcast meetings via the WebEx portal to allow community members to participate in county meetings without having to be present in the chambers. Live streaming of the meetings via YouTube does not allow the public to interact or give any input. So as you consider the fiscal impacts of continuing to broadcast via the WebEx portal today, please know that your vote can either allow for better public input or stifle it. Thank you.
Thank you. No other record. Is there anyone that would like to address the board under unscheduled? Seeing no one come forward, we'll move on to the next item, which is a report out on the closed session that was held on April 19th.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your board took no reportable actions on the last closed session meeting.
Very good. Thank you. Moving on to the next item, which is approval of the minutes from that April 19th meeting. Have board members had an opportunity to review those minutes?
Move it presented, Verboen.
Moved by Verboen, seconded by Fagundes. Thank you very much. Additional questions or comments? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show the minutes stand approved in favor of 5-0. Thank you very much. The next item is the consent calendar. All items under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be acted by one motion. The request of any board member, any item may be removed and made part of the regular agenda. And have board members had an opportunity to review the consent?
Second, Verboen.
Moved by Fagunda, seconded by Verboen. Thank you very much. Additional questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboon.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Let the record show the consent calendar stands approved by members present. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move into regular agenda items of the morning, and the first one comes from Waste Management. And Mr. Hill, you want to introduce the item?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On a quarterly basis, your board receives activity updates from the Kettleman Hazardous Waste Facility. And today, it's that time of the year again. And today, Bob Henry from Waste Management is here to provide that report. So I'm going to turn it over to him.
Good, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Henry.
Good morning, Supervisor Neves.
Oh, Mr. President.
It's nice.
Last quarterly report of activities was January 25th. This one report period covers from the 25th through April 25th. Past activities, February 14th, KHF was notified by Kings County Environmental Health Services of a complaint against Waste Management, specifically the MSW landfill B17. Complaint was filed November 5th, 2021 on Ivan, and that is identifying violations affecting neighborhoods. It's on the Kings County website. KHF was notified on February 14th by Kings County Environmental Health Services of the complaint. Complaint stated cows are being dumped in the landfill and I would like to know my health impacts. Under KHF's approved joint technical document for solid waste facility permit 16-AA-0027, KHF has approval to dispose of animal carcasses within MSW landfill B17. KHF confirmed that carcasses were received on November 1st, 2021, and that the facility followed procedures within the JTD for proper disposal of the carcasses. So we had that. February 15th, Kings County Environmental Health Services at KHF, monthly unannounced facility inspection of MSW landfill B17, hazardous waste landfill B18, and MSW landfill B19, which is currently under a delay of closure. No areas of concern and no violations noted during that inspection. March 11th, 2022, Kings County Environmental Health Services back out at the facility. And during that inspection, no areas of concern, no violations were noted. March 16th, DTSC Director Dr. Meredith Williams and 6 other DTSC employees visited the Kettleman Hills facility. Facility overview presentation and tour was provided. March 29th, DTSC at KHF, unannounced facility inspection. We did receive one minor violation at the drum storage unit for an open container. And I should say the lid was cracked on a poly drum of batteries. The lid was replaced at the time of the inspection. So it's not like the lid was off, but we did have a crack in the lid. April 26th, KHF at Avenel High School, the Waste Management Environmental Science Academy. The freshmen and sophomores attended a facility overview presentation of KHF, and approximately 40 students were in attendance. Those of you who don't remember the Environmental Science Academy, we've been doing this for a number of years. And when the students go through their freshman through senior year, they end up with 30 credits through West Hills College. So they get a jump on going to school by having that 1 year completed. April 7th, San Joaquin Valley Air Pollution Control District at KHF, annual facility inspection. No areas of concern, no violations noted. April 12th, Kings County Environmental Health Services at KHF, again, the monthly unannounced inspection. No areas of concern and no violations. April 19th, KHF submits a notice of intent to the Central Valley Regional Water Quality Control Board. The NOI is for acceptance of fire debris into MSW landfill B17 from the Windy Fire in Tulare County. April 20th, KHF requests from Kings County Environmental Health Services a variance to stay open until 9 p.m. to accept waste from the Windy Fire. And then on April 21, Kings County Environmental Health Services approves the variance request. So KHF is permitted to stay open just for the Windy Fire until 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday. Future activities. This evening, we're going to have the community Zoom meeting. So we have an annual community meeting. When we first started, we were doing it in person. With COVID, we've been doing Zoom meetings. And again, this year it'll be a Zoom meeting. The agenda includes discussions regarding air monitoring results, groundwater monitoring results, and also the contingency plan and placards. Also on future events, April 27th, Avenel High School Waste Management Environmental Science Academy will be at Kettleman. That will be for the juniors and seniors to attend a career paths presentation and then a facility overview presentation and tour. With COVID, they weren't allowed to come for a site tour the last couple of years. And then the last item I have for today, DTSC Part B permit renewal. The last submittal was in June of 2021. The last update from DTSC, and this is when they were out for their visit, is that they hope to complete their technical review by the end of 2022 and make a permit decision in 2023. That's all I have for this morning, Mr. Chairman.
Good, thank you, Mr. Henry. Questions or comments from board members?
I would move to accept the report.
Second.
Moved by Peterson, seconded by Verboen. Additional questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley, Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show that item stands approved unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Henry.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. The next item comes from behavioral health, where we have one item regarding a acceptance of a grant. So Anchang and Dr. Lewis, thank you for being here.
Good morning, Chairman and members of the boards. Anchang Perry with the Behavioral Health. This morning, the department is seeking approval of grant pursuant to the Commission's authority under the Mental Health Services Oversight and Accountability Commission and the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, for the Mental Health Services Act, Mental Health Student Services Act, MHSSA grant award application. Through a competitive bid process, Kings County Behavioral Health was awarded with $2.5 million to provide the mental health services to children and youth in the schools in the Kings County. In 2017, the Mental Health Services Oversight Accountability Commission released SB 82, Funds to Support Expanded Children's Services, and we applied for the third round funding in November 2021. This grant will help department to expand children's services, focusing specifically in the school campuses. The goal is to implement universal screening tools, referral, and linkage of student to services. We will also offer training to all school staff and school districts, but mostly we look forward. This grant will give us opportunity to expand our services to non-Medi-Cal cover children. We are able to provide screening and link them to proper cares. This is very first time the county is able to provide services to non-Medi-Cal covered children, which sometimes the private insurance and other insurance payees have a difficult time linking to services. So we're very excited to provide these services and link them to proper cares. Working closely with the Kings County Office of Education, the 8 school districts were included in a grant application, including Almona Union Elementary School District, Corcoran Unified School District, and 6 other school districts in various locations in Hampers and Lemoore. The first $25,000 will be utilized in the program development, including developing the request for proposal and selecting the contractor provider to provide services. The remaining $2,475,000 will be utilizing the program services operation, and it will be spread it out from July 22 fiscal year and through June 30, 2026, which is $618,750,000 for each fiscal year. There's no impact to the general fund. This grant activity will be in the budget unit 42400 in the department grant budget unit. This request is also to authorize the Director of Behavioral Health to approve and accept sign the grant agreement, including any future amendments to the grant application and other miscellaneous documentation. This grant award agreement has been reviewed and approved by the County Council as to form. Should be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Anchan. Question, Supervisor Peterson.
Sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a quick question. Obviously, this broadens the horizon of the office or the department, and but it also broadens your responsibilities. I'm just curious, one-time funding or and with respect to staff.
Sure.
So Supervisor Peterson, this is not really creating a new program as a long-term entitlement program. What this is going to do is give us a sort of once-in-a-generation opportunity to offer all the children who are currently in school in Kings County an opportunity to be screened and possibly seen by a psychiatrist if that's needed for them. So this is something that's sometimes really difficult to achieve, even with private health insurance. It can take months sometimes to get in to see a psychiatrist. And so given this unique opportunity with this special funding, we thought this is a time where we can offer this service to all of our current children, and that can have a long impact on families. For instance, if you have a child who you think may have ADHD, getting them in for a diagnosis and knowing that at any point in their school district, earlier the better, but at some point when you know that, then you can begin to treat it and step in. So this is going to reach a lot of families that might not be able to have that care.
So are you telling me then that each individual student in these districts are going to be screened?
Not each individual student, but children can be referred for screening. So if a parent or a teacher or anybody is suggesting that a child might need screening, then we can work with their parents to get that done. Yeah.
That would be through the school district, or it will be in cooperation?
It will be through a contracted provider that we will determine.
Okay.
They could have found help for you earlier if they'd have had it years ago.
I would say that the story of that is you probably needed to be. By your comments, you're clearly angry this morning.
Additional questions or comments?
I'll move for approval if presented. Second.
Moved by Verboen, seconded by Fagundes. Thank you very much. Additional questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Here, yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show the item stands approved, 5 in favor. Thank you very much. Thanks for both seeking out that grant, and good luck in the future.
I will tell you, for my New Year's resolution was I was going to work on my ADHD and my hoarding. And it only lasted about 2 weeks. So I still need a little help.
Well, 14 days is a good start.
Yeah, well, I started.
Yeah, at least you start.
It's great to have a good friend that hoards wine.
We're not friends.
Yes. And you don't need help.
Yeah. Moving right along, the next item comes from the Elections Department. And Loopy, good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Chairman, members of the board, hope you guys having a good morning. Lupe Villa with the Elections Office. Come before you seeking approval for the outreach and education agreement between the California Secretary of State's office and Kings County. As you may recall, I was here a couple months ago in regards to VCA model being deployed in Kings County. Back in 2016, SB 450 was passed allowing counties to deploy a new election model that allows flexibility to our voters and extends the number of days of voting. Part of the SB 460 requirements is that counties conduct outreach and education to our public and to the voters. And this agreement that I come before you is to do that. A specific purpose is to do outreach and education. It's a $30,000 agreement that Secretary of State's office has offered in Kings County to conduct the outreach and education portion of the VCA deployment or VCA implementation in Kings County. Agreement 21S as in Sam 10100 will allow Kings County $30,000 to conduct the outreach and education portion of this agreement. If your board accepts this agreement, we would be using this agreement to send out mailers to our voters indicating the VCA model that's being deployed in Kings County effective this election cycle, which is June 7, 2022. There is no impact to the general fund. It's $30,000 we put in an account that we'll be tracking in regards to the usage, as we have to use this by the November 2022 general election as well. The report or the agreement that's been reviewed by county council has been approved as to form. I recommend that you approve the outreach and education agreement between California Secretary of State's office and the County of Kings, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Villa. Thank you very much. Questions, Supervisor Valley?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Just a couple. Do you have a visual of it, of what your mail piece, is it designed already? That
They actually sent us out and people should have started receiving those in the mail the 14th.
Oh, you sent them out already?
Yep. So there is a requirement under SB 450 or VCA implementation. There's a requirement that we send out 2 mailers to each registered voter, not household, but each registered voter prior to each election. So for the June 7th election, there's 2 mailers being sent out. One has already gone out. And the second one, we should be mailing out here in a couple of weeks or within a week or so. I don't have the date for the second mailer. We'll do the same for November. And this $30,000 will cover the cost of those mailers as well.
this will backfill the 2 that you already sent out? It'll pay for them?
Yes, sir. Additionally, if the board chooses not to accept the $30,000 agreement, we have recall funds that were left over from the September 14, 2021 recall that we can target and use to.
Are you doing your mail pieces, you're able to do them in-house, or you go to a outside printing and mailing house?
If you recall, a couple of weeks ago, I came with the contract with Rumbeck Election Services out of Arizona. They're the ones that do our print for our ballots, our informational guides, any election related material, and it's being sent out through Arizona, and then it comes down to Bakersfield and then routes to the Hamper office, post office.
Good work. Thanks, sir.
And this just pays for postage, so it's not really about the law or the Voters' Choice Act, it's about paying, getting the money to put the flyers out there.
Yep.
Correct.
And again, we'll go back to this requirement that they have, and it's going to happen again in November. So we have to do 2 mailers prior to each election, the next election cycle. And this will, offset the cost to the county, if any, of the mailers being sent out. So we're talking $15,000 per election.
Good. Additional questions, comments?
Just comment. I think that the flood of mail pieces with elections is probably goes in the round file quicker than anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how effective this will be.
Have you seen a lot? I haven't seen any yet.
No, but I mean, once the elections start, and I think that, anything kind of from the county, unless you really take, it's like anything else. I don't know.
And I agree with you, Mr. Peterson. You couple the outreach that we'll be doing in-house for the elections office, and then you add the informational guide that's sent out to every single voter. Then you send out a ballot, then you send out instructions, and then you send out voting locations. And then plus you got your candidates that are running for office who also send out their information as well. So it's quite a bit of mail that people get as the elections get closer and closer.
Plus you sent it early, so it beat all that. I haven't seen a lot of campaign mail, and I know that there is the paper shortage, right? And I hear that's affecting candidates from getting mail pieces out. No one's got paper to print for the mail.
Yeah, we face the same,
Well, they print the bills.
the same issue.
Print the bills.
Yeah, sure is. We're facing the same issue with our printer in regards to So we had to go early on. We started putting in our orders early on just to make sure there was enough for us to be on target, and we're on target. So by the way, May 9th is going to be the day where everybody's going to be getting their ballots by mail. So May 9th, they hit the mail stream. I was going to bring that up, but we're dark next week. So May 9th, you'll be getting your ballots.
You think they hit the mailboxes May 9th, or you're sending them out May 9th?
They better hit the May 9th.
They'll hit the mail. May 9th.
So, yeah, they better hit May 9th. It's 29 days prior to an election. That's the code. So 29 days prior to June 7th is May 9th. So that's when we send them out.
I'll second Supervisor Fagundes' motion.
Moved by Fagundes, seconded by Verboen. Any additional questions or comments on the motion or the item? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs.
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen. Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show that item stands approved. 5 in favor. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You guys have a good day.
You too. Thanks. The next item comes from Public Works regarding some four-way stops. Mitchell, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of your board. Mitchell Cabrera with Public Works Department. Before your board this morning, asking to adopt 2 resolutions for all-way, multi-way stop intersections. The locations are 14th Avenue and Front Street in the community of Armona. And the second location is 18th Avenue and Kansas Avenue south of Lemoore. Public Works Department is tasked with analyzing intersections and county roads, monitoring the locations to see if any further studies are necessary, see if any intersections are red flags for any trends and accidents or collisions that are occurring, and to see what steps we need to take to provide the safety for the motoring public. These 2 intersections earlier this year were flagged as having met one of the warrants or justifications in the Federal Highway Administration's manual for uniform traffic control devices. The warrant or justification was that 5 or more collisions that are susceptible to correction occurred at these intersections. Correctable collisions as defined by this manual are right turn collisions, left turn collisions, as well as right angle collisions. After analyzing the collisions at both of these intersections, both met the warrant of having more than 5 broadside or right angle collisions that would be susceptible to correction by an all-way stop at these locations. Staff prepared a stop warrant study analyzing the existing geometrics, the layout, the sight distance, the speeds, any available traffic data was looked at, as well as all the accident reports for reported collisions at these intersections. It's the county's recommendation that both of these resolutions be adopted so the Kings County Roads crew can move forward and help alleviate some of these collisions at these intersections. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Good. Thank you, Mitch. Questions or comments, Supervisor?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. How soon will the stop signs go out?
We have, speaking with the roads crew, they have some available ready on some of the locations, especially Kansas and 18th. Since there is currently no stop from 41 to 43, they'd like to put changeable message signs ahead of time, letting the traffic know that a stop sign is going to be placed. So probably a week, maybe have the sign out, and then we can go out and put the stop sign. If requested, we could do that earlier. We'd just like to give the public kind of a heads up and notice of the change that's going to be in their traffic pattern.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think even a week is too soon, but
We could go 2 weeks, depending on how much notice we want to give the public. We can.
I think that's worthy of a press release to go out to the community. That's a big change out there too. And I think more of a heads up and more of a push on that will be safer because people are going to run them stop signs when they first get out. That's not going to be a good situation.
They're already running the stop sign.
Transition.
They're already running the other stop sign now, so.
That's what's created a lot of the wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have the 2-way digitals on the ground, signs going.
Yeah, so ahead of time, it'll be the changeable message sign saying, a new stop coming, and then we can set the date. We can program it to say the date. And then once we actually place the stop, additional stop ahead signs will be placed instead of just one. And then the message sign can stay up for a certain amount of time. And then once traffic gets used to the new pattern, we can remove that additional stop ahead and the changeable message sign.
All right. Yeah, no, thanks, Chair. I'm not going to suggest a timeline. They're the pros. That was just my opinion, but I would suggest that any means that we have, whatever platform we have from county social media and a press release to go out, just to alert the public as best we could, that takes place.
Very good. Thank you. Supervisor Peterson, you have a question coming?
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for the update. Just again, expressing my concern. You know, when you look at 14th Avenue, it's the only kind of unimpeded crossing for miles. And you look at harvest periods, that point between Front Street and Hanford Armona is pretty small. And then you have railroad tracks in the middle of it. So, you know, you get a bunch of silage trucks lined up, and all of a sudden you got a train running through town. I just express my concerns that, you know, we need to really identify or some sort of signage that talks about, you know, being careful about the railroad tracks and not being stopped in the railroad tracks there. And is that, you know, going south, it's not an issue, but if you're coming north, that's where the problem is going to lie.
So in that regards, county staff has started analyzing similar scenarios like the city of Hanford with their stop control intersections where the tracks run through the sign location where cars aren't allowed to park or wait. A similar setup would be used in that case to try to mitigate or avoid that scenario.
Okay. Then one other cluster kind of in my area, Joe's area, 17th and Houston. I know we talked about a signal there between 3:30 and 6. It's a mess right there.
Yeah, and at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah, both ways.
two periods a day that intersection is really impacted.
Yeah, the AM and the PM peak
Correct.
traffic hours. 17th in Houston, that project is already in design.
Correct.
We've started the right-of-way process with one of the homeowners there because additional county right-of-way is going to be needed to fit the traffic, the proposed intersection. Plans are 100%. We're working on right-of-way phase and the utility relocations with PG&E on 17th in Houston.
So do you have like an estimation of?
Not yet. We have a follow-up meeting with the design consultant. Depending on when PG&E can do their relocation, the other utilities kind of piggyback on wherever they relocate their poles. That'll give us a clear timeline of when that project will be complete.
Yeah, it's a mess. The people try to make 2 lanes out of 1 lane, and it's yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's a gas feeder on one corner that has to be relocated. So that, you know, in government time, it's about 6 months, but in calendar time, that's probably 3 years. So it's somewhere between those two time periods. And unfortunately, it's been in the pipeline for 2 years. It just hasn't moved very fast. Additional questions?
Approve as presented.
Moved by Verboen,
Second.
seconded by Valley. Thank you very much. Additional questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes. Let the record show that item stands approved. 5 in favor. Good luck. Thank you. 4-way stops. Yeah.
Roundabout.
Yay. All right. Next item comes from administration regarding a proclamation. Mr. Hill, would you like to introduce the item?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today, we're seeking your board's adoption of a resolution proclaiming May 2nd through the 6th as Public Service Recognition Week and declaring the Kings County Annual Employee Recognition Barbecue as a tobacco-free event. In 1990, the Kings County Board of Supervisors adopted the Employee Recognition Program to acknowledge our outstanding employees. This included an Employee of the Quarter recognition and an annual barbecue. On Tuesday, May 3rd, this Tuesday, next Tuesday, Kings County will once again and finally be holding its annual Employee Recognition Barbecue. The barbecue provides an opportunity for the board members, department heads, management staff, community leaders, and jail kitchen staff to cook for and serve employees in recognition of their dedication and outstanding service. The event will begin at 11 a.m. with a health walk hosted by the Kings County Department of Public Health. This also coincides with our health insurance open enrollment period in May. Planning for this event was conducted by the Kings County Annual Employee Recognition Barbecue Committee, who I would like to thank for their work and dedication seeing this event brought back to the county. Specifically, I'd like to thank Christine Alvera. She was brand new, dropped into the chair of that appointment, trial by fire, and I think she's done an excellent job, as well as our other committee
We
members.
have to walk to get our lunch?
Yep,
Yes, you do.
the gate will start 4 miles away. Additionally, the committee is requesting your board authorize the chairman to sign letters formally thanking the California Public Finance Authority, the Kings Federal Credit Union, and other organizations who contributed donations to this event. That concludes my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Question or comment?
You're not cooking? Are you cooking that Tuesday or the jail staff's cooking?
Doing deep shit meat and then
Okay.
bringing it here.
They don't have the capacity to cook it all, so Supervisor Fagundes has done, taking about half of it. Half of it will be in the culinary operations, and then we'll still be doing breakfast burritos.
I'm off. I don't have to cook.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. I'll just show up. I'll do the walk.
We're serving them, right?
Are we?
Yes.
Serving?
If I get
Yes.
here in time from the walk.
If you're not too tired, maybe we'll get you a sweatband.
Oh, yeah.
There's also a crazy hat. Christine, you want to talk about crazy hats? A little contest that has been brought up to this occasion.
So we wanted to take the theme of hats off to our employees because we have amazing employees in the county and we want to recognize everybody. So we thought it would be fun if we had a hat contest at 12 o'clock. We're reaching out to find 2 groups of Kings County employees. We have somebody assigned to that. And there will be a hat contest on the day of the barbecue. And also we're encouraging everybody to just wear their hat. It doesn't have to be a crazy hat. It can just be your favorite hat. Something that we can't really do every day. So we thought it would be fun for everybody to kind of come in, have a conversation piece, get to know people from different departments, and just have good camaraderie together. I'd also like to encourage department heads and their staff as well. Sometimes, we always don't want to put one on, but it would be fun if we could all get together and wear our hats, right, Ed? We're going to put our hats on. So that concludes the hat portion of it. If you have any other questions, I'd be glad to answer, but it's just,
You can decorate the hat any way you want.
that's right.
Put the flare on it, right?
Put a flare. Yeah. The health department has lots of items.
Like that.
Sign me up for first shift on the serving.
You've got it. And
Yeah.
we've got assignments. Whenever you want to come down and serve, just let me know.
I'll serve anything. Just put me on the line.
Sometimes when you volunteer first, you have to stay until replaced. So
Right.
that,
Yeah.
just when you start early, sometimes you have to
They're
stay
all-
late.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah.
We also need help in the cleanup area.
Yes.
I'm still walking.
Need a few more steps to get down there.
Where do we start to walk at?
So the walk, there's actually a map on the intranet, but I have one actually here. I don't know what to say. So it's going to start right in front of the courtyard. It's going to go all the way around the whole county area. And it's a good mile walk. It's
Right.
not pretty bad. And actually, the way the health department,
And walk to the barbecue, eat, and then walk back.
so our starting point is going to be right out here in front of the courtyard. I know this is kind of far away. It's on the intranet. You're going to go out towards Lacey, kind of around the county center. It's all been walked by Public Works. They were great at helping us figure out the safe paths and where to go. And it's kind of just delineated there. And you come back and right in the courtyard, you can get your meal.
Like,
And oxygen
Dog?
tank.
can I bring my dog and walk with me?
Yeah,
I got a pet chicken I'll bring.
okay.
I want to meet that pet chicken.
Just in case we run out of meat, that's backup. So yeah, that'll be workout. We could do that.
Great, roadkill.
Sustainable, Joe.
Is ice cream coming back?
Ice cream's coming back. We have Kings Federal Credit Union. That was part of the request for the thank you letters to Kings Federal. They'll be providing all the ice cream. We've had, as Mr. Hill indicated, we have Cal PFA that's provided donation baskets for all of our employees of the quarter. And just so many people from the community that are really trying to pitch in and appreciate all of our county employees on that day.
Marie, how far is it from child support to here? Maybe we could have Supervisor Boone park at your facility, walk over and then walk back to get his vehicle.
Or JTO.
Do it in the morning, start off with a burrito. over there.
Yeah.
And
The ambulance is here and they carry oxygen with them all the time. They can
And we
take
got
care of you.
the automatic CPR machines. Right. So-
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Look forward to it. And we have to sign up for the walk. We just can't show up.
Yes. There's a registration link also on the intranet. You just hit that registration link and everything's electronic. Put your name, your information, and you're
Now I gotta get
registered to
one of
go.
the beer drinking hats.
The 2 beers.
Yeah.
Needs to
I'm
be root
excited to
beer.
see your hats.
I'm thinking. I got to figure it out.
Yeah. American Ambulance is also involved in this in the past, and so you're certainly invited. In the past, your predecessor has done some amazing Italian green beans that everybody has just continues to talk about. And I'm not going to put that burden on you, but your staff is certainly invited to swing by as they work through the shifts. And
Mhm.
yeah. So
Just make a request then.
yeah. So
Make
what-
more beans.
yeah, hopefully when we get past this COVID deal and we can open things up a little bit more, because I tell you, everybody was very impressed with those Italian green beans that he used to chef.
Well, did COVID get started by those beans? We can still have them. I don't think they cause COVID.
No, they don't cause it. They just, yeah, never mind. Thank you, Christine.
Thanks.
This is an action item. Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Fagundes, seconded by Verboen. Additional questions or comments? Hearing or seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley.
Aye.
Doug Verboen.
Yes.
Craig Peterson.
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
That's right. Record show, the item stands approved, 5 in favor. And yeah, Crazy Hats, I'm not sure what the winner's going to get. County cap. Yeah. So one of those gateway approvals. With that, thank you very much, Mr. Hill. Thank you, Christine. The next item is board member announcements or reports. And on their own initiative, Supervisor Fagundes.
I'm good today.
You're good?
Yep.
You want a second opinion?
Nope.
Are you sure?
That's just my opinion.
Just your opinion? Well, it's very good.
Don't think I want yours.
No, it would all be good. Well, good. I'm glad you're here. Feeling good. Cool weather. Oh, no, feel good? Well, we got some jobs for you, so good. We'll get you.
Gonna make me better?
That'll make you better.
Then I'll volunteer.
Yeah. Supervisor Valley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Last week, Dominic identified to me the gap in the funding for the Kettleman City pedestrian bridge. And so we're going to work on that issue. One of the things we did was reach out to Assemblymember Salas last week for possible funding. He requested an updated report. So Dominic and Jason from ChrisCom worked Thursday night and Friday to get the deadline, which was yesterday at 5. So we sent all that information to Assemblymember Salas, and we'll start the process there to go after a few more $1 million to take the burden off any budgets here at the county for that bridge. We want to make sure, as you know, there's going to be a study session coming up and also an action item where Caltrans, in order to send the $2 million that Assemblymember Salas already got us last year, they want the county to send them an attestation that we're going to build this bridge. And so, you know, I don't even think they treated high-speed rail that way, saying, show us 100% of the budget. We have the monies to build it before they start it, but they want us to do that with the bridge. And so we want to make that agenda item as comfortable for the board as possible and show that we are doing the work to bring future funding as well as whatever loans or grants that are out there that Dominic and staff are working on. So we'll keep you updated on that as well. And then lastly, Mr. Chairman, I think that be a good idea going back to this email we received on the action we took last week regarding teleconferencing, that we send out a press release on that to educate and inform the public on exactly what that action we took meant, and let them know that this is something that's coming back to the board very soon for us to figure out the best way to keep the residents of the county engaged and being able to interact at the county level of decision making. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Good, thank you. Supervisor Verboen?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to take this time and ask that the board be willing to sign onto a letter in support of Moss Energy to Secretary of Agriculture Karen Ross for the grant application. We've done this in the past. We have a letter ready to go. We copied the letter we had from last year to this year with the new language in there, and just want to nod of head to see if you guys have a consensus to do so. Good. Does that approve the council at this time?
It does. As a safety measure, there is procedure by which an item can be added to the agenda that wasn't previously noticed. And perhaps in order to buttress the consensus that you guys have just reached, we can
Okay, I can add
engage
it
in
now.
that.
We can vote on it now.
And then we could vote on it now. But let me tell you what we first need to find. One, this procedure generally applies to situations where there's an urgent need to act due to the impacts to public health and safety. And I think that given air quality and the impacts, I think that we can qualify for that. First, the board must make two determinations, and that is, one, that there is an immediate need to take action, and two, that the need arose after the posting of the agenda, and then the matter can be placed on the agenda. So based upon a two-third vote by the board, and a motion and then a two-thirds vote on those two things, the item can be discussed and acted on.
Okay. I think it's important to get this letter out in a timely manner. We're already behind the ball about 7 days. So I'd like to add it to the agenda at this time.
Second.
Moved by Verboen, seconded by Valley to add an item under urgency item.
Yes, so my understanding of the motion is that you're making a motion that, one, there is a need to take action or an immediate need to take action, and that the need arose after the posting of the agenda. Is that your motion?
Yes, that's my second as well.
Okay.
Very good. Additional questions or comments? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show that item has been approved by members present. Now the action.
The matter is added to the agenda?
Getting it right the first time.
No problem. Now that the matter's been added to the agenda, you may discuss it and take whatever action you deem fit.
And at this time, I'd like to request we do a letter of support to Karen Ross or Secretary Ross on behalf of Moss Energy for the dairy biodigesters.
You want anyone CC?
You guys want to be CC'd?
Any other agencies need to be CC'd?
I'll probably do planning department. No.
Text goes directly, so you send us the PDF like you did last year, and then it attached to our grant application for both Lakeshore Dairy and Maddox Brothers Dairy. So the letter of support are attached there. It doesn't need to be sent directly to Secretary Ross,
Okay.
even though it's addressed to her.
12 years ago, I was at a debate when I ran for office, and some guy come up there and talked about how they're going to capture gas from cows and turn it into energy. And I thought this guy was crazy. Well, turns out I was crazy because I didn't believe him. So
And you're still here and he's
I'm
gone.
still here. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Yeah.
So yeah.
So we're good. Consensus. We got to vote on that letter or just we're good?
Yes.
Take a vote on that. That would be a motion then?
Okay.
Yeah, that was moved by Verboen, seconded by Fagundes. Additional questions or comments on the letter? With the clarification, Eileen, thank you very much. Anyone else? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Joe Nevs,
Yes.
Richard Valley,
Aye.
Doug Verboen,
Yes.
Craig Peterson,
Aye.
Richard Fagundes.
Yes.
Let the record show that item stands approved and will be printed out as soon as possible.
Yeah. The letter's ready. I'll send it to Catherine right now.
Okay, very good.
Thank you very much. And then so last week we attended California State Association of Counties Conference. I believe it might be Craig's last meeting as official title in CSAC. And it's a little difficult to go to CSAC nowadays, and we're kind of outnumbered in the way we live here versus where the state pushes us the right direction. I don't know if you're going to speak on this, but yeah, it was a short, sweet, and quick meeting, and good to get back in person. And then yesterday we attended the Sheriff's Association Annual Conference, which was hosted by King County and Tulare County, and Visalia and Dave Robinson did a very good job. So thank you.
Very good. Supervisor Peterson.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. in short term, yesterday, as I chaired the National Association of Counties Ag and Rural Affairs Committee, just some general information that was provided by NACO, and Farm Bill hearings are starting. It's believed that Farm Bill will have flat funding this year. Also, other information that came out from a member of the Senate Agriculture Committee staff was, as well as that, there's 250 million available for assistance in fertilizer programs this year for those that are interested in that. And the other thing, just a reminder, and I know our staff is on it, but the ARPA project and expenditure report must be submitted to Treasury on April 30th. And so there is also, if any assistance is needed today at 2 p.m., what is it? 2 p.m. Eastern. So
11 o'clock.
yeah, that there is NACO's doing an assistance program if you need any help with that. And then back to Supervisor Verboen's comments on CSAC. It's still a struggle, yeah. You know, you look at the water issue, you know, how we're trying to move things forward, and I think even CSAC is lost in how they try to bring people together on water, but we continue to try to find a way to bring that discussion to the 58 member association and do it in a respectful way, because it's going to take all of us to achieve any kind of reasonable, substantial increase in water supply in California. And it's going to, you know, it's going to take the involvement of the big players and the small players, at least, you know, from the CSAC perspective, to get involved. We're going to have some sort of agreement. And I think Dusty's here as well. There's another effort, you know, the Save Our Communities effort that is attempting to try to bring one voice to the Central Valley with respect to water, and you know, it's going to take some patience and some willingness to give up territory. And you know, as I shared with Dusty, you know, I mean, 20 years ago, I know the agricultural community came together. They were going to provide a checkoff for some funding to speak with one voice, and it was completely destroyed by those that felt their voice was more important than the other. And here we are again, 20 years later. We haven't really achieved any measurable increases in water supply, and our communities are being hit the hardest. So hopefully we're going to be able to find a way to speak with one voice and get past the territories that lie within. But that's all I have. So, thank you, Mr.
Fertilizer money. They're going to have a program to help reimburse farmers for
Yeah,
fertilizer?
through USDA.
Sweet. And okay, I'll go check.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, very good. For me, I attended the Caltrans planning meeting. Caltrans has some State Highway 41 overlay projects, both sides of between Stratford and Lemoore, and between Stratford and Kettleman City. Those will take place this summer. And then we're starting to talk a little bit more about the bridge replacement and some of the other major projects on 41. Cal ID and the Remote Access Board had their annual meeting and approved all the budgets and the maintenance agreements for all the live scan devices in the county. And we replaced them in the last year and a half or so. So some of them are just now coming off their 1-year warranties, but all of them are working very well. Kings Federal Credit Union Supervisors meeting, we reviewed all the credit union operations and everything's going good. Lemoore Kiwanis meeting continues to struggle, trying to reconstitute that. But it's been a real struggle with some of these service clubs. Attended Sonia's farewell luncheon, taco bar, very good. Nice event out on the grass, and certainly wanted to wish her well as she moves on to Fresno County. South Fork Kings held their second meeting with the hybrid model and working well. Some of the discussions were the hydrological model update from Tulare Lake Basin, as well as the ground water well permits. And we do have a couple of illustrations of what that permit will look like, and hopefully working with Fresno County and Tulare County and try to make them pretty consistent so that growers won't have to be dealing with 3 or 4 different forms. They'll be somewhat consistent. And we continue to work with that AB 361, but we certainly appreciate the hybrid model and working on the Zoom platform. So it's a little bit different from here. Sarah Mooney had an ice cream social that was on Saturday. It was a very well attended event with games and all of the party favors. Lemoore FFA dinner was held in Stratford on Saturday night. Approximately 300 people showed up for a steak dinner and bought a lot of stuff. The Sheriff's Conference, the 128th annual conference in Visalia. And I think those elected sheriffs from all over the state had an opportunity to go to the surf ranch, I think last night. And so they are taking in some of the sites and ideas here in Kings County and Tulare County, and certainly want to thank Sheriff Boudreau and Robinson for doing that and hosting that event. Kings County Behavioral Health meeting yesterday, we talked about again hybrid model. We had a couple of little hiccups trying to pull that together, but it was really the first time we had an in-person meeting in 26 months. There wasn't a whole lot of action items, so it worked out pretty well. But we'll continue to work on and trying to get those hybrid meetings flow a little better and have a little bit of because it does work out very, very well for the public and for the board members. And then last night, the Kings County Historical Society had Michael LaSalle in there talking about, well, it's not a new book now, it's about 3 years old, but No Trail to Follow. He wrote a book about the first wagon party that came from Missouri in 1841 to California. And that was before the gold rush and before a lot of the established routes, 4 or 5 years before the Donner Party had their problems, but very well researched. The book has a lot of maps and just a lot of neat information. The other thing that, again, in California, it was sold in Missouri that how wonderful it was, but half of that party only stayed about 6 months. They went back the next spring. They didn't stay, even in 1841. So, and it wouldn't be till 1840, till discovery of gold, 1849, that a lot of the migration began to happen and a lot of the trails were a little more established. So with that, that concludes my activities. Mr. Hill, you want to talk about board correspondence, upcoming events, and information on future agenda items?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your board received an email correspondence from Claire Fidiashi, as mentioned today, dated April 19th, requesting the board continue to offer teleconference meetings. Your board also received a copy of an email submitted to California Offices of Emergency Services regarding the Kings County Deputy Ag Commissioner's request for the USDA primary disaster declaration for Kings County growers dated April 20th, 2022. For upcoming events, the Kings County District Attorney's Office is hosting a National Crime Victims Week from April 24th through the 30th. There will be a quilt on display Thursday, April 28th from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the First Baptist Hanford, located at 9125 13th and a half Avenue in Hanford. Waste Management, as mentioned today, will be holding their annual Kettleman Hills Facility Informational Meeting. The meeting is scheduled for April 26th at 5:30 p.m. The meeting will be a virtual meeting hosted on Zoom, and those interested can reach out to Waste Management for meeting information at 559-386-6151. The City of Avenel will be hosting its annual Old Timers Day celebration from April 29th to May 1st. The event will kick off with a Rotary dinner on Friday, April 29th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Recreation Center located at 717 East Monterey Street in Avenel. It's $12 per person. On Saturday, the event will, April 30th, there will be a breakfast at the Vets Hall from 7 to 10 a.m. with the parade starting at 10 a.m. and park activities from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The reunion dinner will take place on Saturday, April 30th at 5 p.m. at the Vets Hall, and memory lane tours and movie will occur on Sunday, May 1st. Youth Spring Fest is still scheduled for Saturday, April 30th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Co Park located at 543 South Doughty Street, Hanford. The event is free for attendees. There will be free food, games, face painting, prize giveaways, and also an opportunity to connect with local organizations serving Kings County. Kings County Employee Recognition Barbecue, as mentioned today, will take place May 3rd. The event will kick off with a health walk from 11 a.m. to 11:30. The barbecue will be from 11:30 to 1. All employees are encouraged to wear their favorite hat to the barbecue. There will be a hat contest at 12 p.m. Kings County and the California Secretary of State will celebrate California's democracy on May 4th from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Where they will encourage community discussion and inform voters of their options for the upcoming election. This event will be held virtually and requires registration. We will be posting the flyer on our news section of our website today. The Central California Blood Center will be holding the Kings County Employee Blood Drive Monday, May 23rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. located at the Old Drury parking lot at 1400 Lacey Boulevard. For upcoming agenda items, Ag has consideration for an agreement with the California Crop Improvement Association for the county's assistance with seed certification program. Behavioral Health has consideration for a new estoppel certificate on a lease with Hanford P&J Associates for 530 Kings County Drive, Suite 102. The DA has consideration for an advanced step hire. Fire has consideration for State Homeland Security Grant Program sub-recipient agreements. Human Resources has consideration for an agreement for the classification and total compensation study. IT has 2 items, consideration for the purchase of cloud backup storage space and consideration for the purchase of cloud backup solution. And Probation has consideration for Senate Bill 823 Youth Programs and Facilities Grant Program. That concludes all of the events and upcoming agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Questions, comments, or concerns? Any other items missed? With that, the board will now move into closed session to take up 2 items. First item is conference with labor negotiator regarding Deputy Sheriff's Association. And the second item regarding public employee appointment, the Human Resources Director position. And any action will be reported out on May 10th. Just to remind you, the May 3rd meeting has been canceled in order to hold the employee recognition barbecue. So our next regular scheduled meeting is May 10th at 9 a.m. I also want to remind you at 11 o'clock, the California Community Housing Agency will hold its meeting, as well as In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority at 11:15 or shortly after. So with that, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. The board will now be moving into closed session and then adjourn out of closed session. With that, thank you very much.